So, Lindsay, what brings you into career services?
Well, I'm undecided right now in my major, and pretty much I just need to like pick one, because I'm in the last semester of my sophomore year, and a lot of things are, I don't know, my career inventory, is that what it was? Like I took one.
Yeah, you took the strong interest inventory.
Exactly, yeah. I took that like either maybe last semester or my second semester of freshman year, and it didn't really give me much insight.
Didn't spark a lot of ideas, or
no. And it kind of like gave me like career paths that I'm not interested in at all, you know. So it just kind of left me where I was before I took it. I didn't really gain any knowledge from it.
So you kind of felt like you were hoping for a bigger answer from that than what you walked away with.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe something to spark my interest, obviously, but then kind of give me like a more direct path to where I could decide my major, you know. But it really didn't, so I'm back to square one, kind of.
And a lot of times we really want assessments to be more of a brainstorming tool than necessarily an answer.
Yeah.
But I know that can be frustrating.
It definitely is.
When you come in wanting an answer from it,
Yeah.
and then you're still stuck saying, I don't know what I want to do.
Yeah, because I brainstormed like a lot by myself, and I kind of wanted that tool to point me in a more direct path, on a more direct path. But as another brainstorming tool, it's just like, well, I'm really feeling the pressure now, you know, because it's on me, really.
Sounds like you're feeling kind of frustrated just with the process.
Yeah, I am, and you know, I kind of wanted to talk to you, kind of to see what I can do, because I'm pretty motivated, because I kind of need to be at the moment. That's where I am. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do, because I have to do it now, since like I'm getting into my upperclassmen years, and I feel like I need to know like what I should do in terms of my classes and getting everything done before it's too late.
So feeling pressure from, it sounds like, more outside sources that you know it's going to help motivate you to do some of these steps, but not feeling ready to really necessarily make those steps.
Yeah.
That you're kind of being pressured into.
Yeah, definitely, because I've always been interested in law. I've always really wanted to be a lawyer. My dad's a lawyer, and that's kind of like all I've really seen. And I'm really interested in law. I think it's like really fascinating, and I really want to help people in the legal system, and feel like I'm a good arguer, kind of. That's just kind of my personality. But I just don't know if that's like what I can do. You know what I mean?
So some of the traits that you see that you have would be, you know, arguing, the interest in helping people, and kind of seeing your dad do it, say, I could possibly do that.
Yeah, definitely.
But not being sure that you for sure could see yourself there.
Yeah, I could, well, I think I could see myself as a lawyer, but I don't know if I can necessarily get there. I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I can make the grades to even get into law school. So that's kind of weighing down on me a little bit.
Scared about taking steps toward a path that, what happens if you don't succeed?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the failure thing is getting to me a little bit, because I really want to show my dad that I could do it. I've always kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps a little bit, so I just don't want him to think that I couldn't do it.
So scared of not measuring up. So what he even has done and wanting to live up to kind of what he's already been able to accomplish.
Yeah, definitely. He's been like practicing law for like it seems like an eternity before I was even born, and he's like really smart. And I've always, you know, been okay in my classes. Like I just don't think I have like the motivation. I'm kind of like at a standstill. And I don't know if that's because I'm scared of the rejection or the failure or not, but I kind of need to see like what I can do, you know.
So still coming back to wanting some more tangible steps.
Yeah.
Of really trying to figure out kind of those next steps of how can I figure out if I'm capable.
Yeah.
Because what happens if I'm not capable?
Definitely. Yeah, and I mean I've been offered like tutoring for my classes. Like my GPA is like not like extremely good, but not extremely bad. Like I'm kind of average. I get a lot of B's in my gen eds, and I know that like that's not going to be acceptable in my major courses, especially since that's directly like related to getting into law school. Like I don't want to be average in my major. I want to exceed the expectations.
What does average in your classes mean to you? What does that mean?
Like I don't really try that hard, so I don't make the A's. I just do what I can to kind of get by a little bit. I mean, it's not like I'm getting like a lot of C's. So I'm not really trying, but I'm still getting B's. But the motivation factor for me to like obtain that A, it's not there. I just don't have it. But at the same time, I'm feeling the pressure. So I'm conflicted.
Yeah, so you're kind of just even confused on, am I gonna get the motivation for these classes? Is there enough interest there to spark that motivation? Or is that gonna be kind of where you're at? And then are the B's gonna be enough to get into law school?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know that that's like really what I want to do. That's where my interests lie. But I'm scared of making that commitment. And then, like I said, failing. Realizing that that's not what I'm cut out to do. Mainly because of the academics.
So scared of making that commitment, and a part of that kind of fitting back into that, once again, if I take that step, I might not succeed. And then what happens?
Exactly.
And I think it sounds like it's more of the fear of the unknown of what comes after not being able to measure up.
Yeah, right. And I mean, that's like up until this point, I've just been able to kind of skate by and do my gen ed courses and not really have to make such like that move, that step. But now that like I'm kind of being forced to with like holds on my account because I haven't selected a major, it's just that much more pressure. Now I need to really think like, am I good enough to declare like a political science major and really work towards that? Because up until this point, I really haven't had a reason to get the A's because it's just gen eds, you know.
And so that kind of overall feeling of, am I good enough, but do I want to be good enough? Do I want to invest that time and motivation into that in order to measure up?
Yeah, definitely. And I don't know, like I think that I could do it, but I'm just having a lot of doubts. going back to like the failure thing, I don't wanna like start into that major and realize that I'm putting forth like all this effort that I haven't necessarily put forth like in the years like past a couple years, and then like my dad sees that like, you know, I'm maybe not as committed as I tell him that I am, or that I'm wasting my time on, you know, poli-sci, and that I'm not even gonna get into law school after. So
also scared of trying and putting in the effort and not making the A still.
yeah. Yeah, I could see that would be just horrible for me to make that commitment and then put everything that I have into it and then just not being good enough. And like, what if I do pick like, you know, a specific major related to law, and I realize that my time was wasted, like what do I do then? You know, and if I can't get into law school, then I'm not really interested in anything and in any other things, so what am I gonna do then? Like, I just don't want to put in those years and to figure out that I'm just, like, I have to pick something else, and that I have to kind of like go down another path. Start from the beginning.
So you're scared in 2 years you'll end up right back where you are today.
Yeah, definitely, and that's why I've kind of tried to maintain like getting all my gen ed classes done, so I don't have to make that decision so quickly. And like, it's horrible because I see all these like other kids that know that what they want to do and they want to work towards it. Like, I just don't, and I don't know if anybody like knows what I'm feeling inside like that.
So feeling like you're the only one going through this.
Mm-hmm.
Your friends seem to have it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Know what they want.
Yeah, they, like, one of them is a biology major and she wants to be like a pediatrician, and so she's already made that commitment, and she's definitely very smart, so I can see her succeeding in her major and getting into medical school, but I can't like relate that back to myself, even though I do know what I want to do, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Whereas for her, it's easy for you to see that what she wants to do, that she's capable of it, but still not able to see that you're capable of the path that you want.
Yeah.
And how scary that is for you.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I could even like talk to her about it. I mean, she like kind of asked me like, what, you know, when am I gonna declare my major, and you know, I know that you like law and you want to be a lawyer, but like, why aren't you taking that step? And I just like try to explain to her, well, I just don't know yet. I just don't know yet.
There's a piece of you, it's easier to kind of not make that commitment yet. Because if you don't make the commitment and don't try, then it's not facing that fear of trying and still not achieving it.
Yeah, and that's what I've kind of been feeling very comfortable with the past couple of years. Like, I was just having like the greatest college experience, and you know, being an average student and succeeding in that realm, but not necessarily like being in the mindset that I have to, I'm here because I need to get to a certain place. Like, I'm in college because I need to get a degree, and then from that I have a career after that, or I can go to law school if I want to, but I don't have that right now.
You weren't seeing this experience as a stepping stone to something else. You were able to just kind of be and experience the day as it was.
Yeah.
And now you're feeling bogged down
Yeah.
by what's to come after. you leave college and all the things, all the decisions that are going to affect the next decision. Whereas it was much more comfortable when you were able to just live from day to day.
Pretty much, yeah. And like everybody, I don't understand, people say like, oh, you have time to pick your major, or like I've switched my major like 6 times in college. Like you don't even know what you want to do until you get to the nitty gritty, and sometimes that's at the end of college. But like, so I'm there, and I've done that. I've kind of taken advantage of not needing to know, you know, and not needing to put that commitment out there. But now when it's like in my face, and then now I have to face it, you know what I mean?
So feeling anxious about how today can affect tomorrow, and feeling anxious that you haven't been feeling this way. It sounds like a piece of you kind of wants that back.
Yeah, I would love another semester, you know, or even another year to kind of just like be at that space where I don't have as much pressure to make a decision about my future, so much as to getting like, you know, with the college experience and being with my friends and doing what I need to do, but also having fun, you know what I mean? But I do really want to, you know, show my dad that I can do it. Because I mean, he's paying good money for the, you know, for my education. I feel also a little bit guilty that that's like that's what I've been maintained for 2 years. I've been kind of comfortable not getting as good of grades as I should be getting, and like I just wonder like what he's thinking, like when am I going to get my act together, kind of, because I'm paying, you know, your tuition, and I don't know, so I feel a little bit guilty for taking advantage of that.
So worried about even how your dad's gonna respond, and when's that gonna happen, and kind of fretting over what is he thinking, and what if his perception of you changes.
Yeah, that would be really bad. I don't want that to happen, because I've always I've always seen him as like this smart guy who has it all together, who has like a great job, who loves what he does, and I want to emulate that. And like I do give him like the credit of exposing me to the legal system, and planting that seed for my interest in being a lawyer. But all this other stuff that's going in my head is just kind of like a roadblock for that, and for ultimately like showing him that I can do it.
And wanting him to be proud of you.
Yeah.
And scared of disappointing him.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, because I don't know if like I've told you this before, or if I told anybody in career services, that I don't know why I would, but that's like really, really on my mind lately, because in freshman year my parents got divorced, and I've always kind of, well, up until this point since that happened, I've kind of had to juggle between both my parents, and I find myself kind of leaning towards trying to impress my dad more now that they're separated and divorced. So that's like, you know, another thing that I have to deal with, kind of.
So they're more recently divorced, and so you're still trying to figure out kind of who you're going to be as their daughter now that they're not together.
Yeah.
And a big part of kind of your relationship with your dad since then has been about impressing him or making him proud, since the divorce.
Yeah, definitely, because I have an older sister, and she she went through college, she knew what she wanted to do, she succeeded, she was like an A student. All through college, she never got a C. And now she's doing what she wanted to do. And like I just envy her so much because she knew what she wanted to do and she took the steps to do it. And I feel like I'm in the back seat to where I want to go.
Whereas you could see some similarities that you know what you want to do like she does, but whereas she could take those steps and she made the grades and she did this and that in order to achieve it, you're feeling stuck.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that what sets me apart from her is that she never wanted anything to do with law, and she never wanted to really impress my dad. So she's like doing, you know, she's really into education, so she's a teacher now. And she never really cared about what my dad thought about it, but where like I'm at, I've always wanted to impress my dad. Like I've always wanted to make him proud. I've always really respected him in his occupation. So so it's different for me and my sister, but the fact that she did what she wanted and really didn't have to worry about anything like I have to, it's just frustrating.
She was able to find something totally different that fit her. There's a piece of you that sounds like, not that your dad has pressured you into doing law, but you feel almost stuck in choosing law because that's going to be what makes him most proud.
Yeah.
And if you were to pick something different, then that perception may shift, and that being one of the things you're really worried and scared about.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Because I think that it's a lot easier if I would just like make something else that's my own, and that I didn't have to like meet such a high expectation of myself like my sister did. Like, I mean, no one in my family is a teacher. So she was kind of like the person, like the different person, and she gained like a lot of respect and admiration from my family because she like branched out kind of, and she did her own thing. But whereas me, like, I would love to see if I'm interested in something else, but I don't really feel like I would be as invested or serious about another occupation where I'm like, do you see what I mean? If I like, because I am invested in, that's where my interests lie in law, but like I just can't see myself like
Can't
doing
even
anything.
see yourself in any other
No.
job or field.
Mm-hmm.
But for you, in that field is where that stems a whole nother set of pressure and stress that you don't feel like your sister had to face.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and I've always tried to live up to her with her, you know, academics, and she's always been really well-rounded and very motivated to do everything, and like I've definitely tried to live up to that and mirror her. But I'm kind of like in a rut now that I'm at the end of my second year of college, like, so I just don't know what to do.
So feeling torn because there's a piece of you that knows that you wanted to live up, you wanted to be a lot like your sister, but you also know that over the past 2 years you haven't necessarily done as much or showed that level of motivation.
Yeah.
And so reconciling kind of those two sides of yourself just makes this all more complicated for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I saw my sister when she went to school, when she was in college, she really didn't get the full college experience. Like, she never went out. Like, she had friends, but she never really like went out to like parties or like stayed out really late on the weekends. And I kind of I kind of wanted to, like, I wanted the full college experience, so that's why I kind of I didn't want to like bombard myself with so many classes that really was gonna make a difference in my career choice. So I just decided, you know, if I kind of prioritized things a little bit differently, I could do my gen eds and get them over with while still having a life, having like social life. And then after that, like, you know, when I've had the time to go out and do everything that I want to do as a freshman and sophomore, then I could kind of reel myself back in. But now that it's here, it's like scary.
So wanting a different college experience, at least to start college, but now that you see that for these next 2 years you might have to have a similar college experience to what your sister had, and that thought scares you, and it's overwhelming.
Yeah. To
think about that you might lose the kind of fun aspects.
Yeah. I didn't really realize that was going to be such a major shift. Like now that I've kind of stuck myself in a place where I am getting like these grades, I prioritize like the social aspect over really like understanding what it takes to get an A in college. And now I don't know what that's like, or how much motivation I need to do that to get an A when I really, really need to now. So I'm like flailing a little bit. Like I just don't know what it takes to do that. Well, I do know what it takes to do that, but I don't know if I'm necessarily like ready. So
confused. I mean, confused on whether or not you fully know what it looks like for you to create a different college experience, what it takes to get an A, what it looks like for you to get the A, and on some level, you know some of those steps that you need to do, but still worried that what if I do those steps and I still don't cut it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a real fear for me. Because I really want to kind of take a step back and make a decision, make a commitment for myself. And I'm ready to kind of shift how I study and how much time I'm going to have to devote to my studies for my major classes. But like I know that, but don't know if I can, or if it's going to feel weird to me or feel overwhelming. And then what if it does feel overwhelming and then I just decide that I can't do it anymore, or if that I'm just going to not worry about it or not care. That's just good. But because I know what will happen if that happens. Then like my dad will get on my case, that I'm like, slacking off when it's really like imperative for me to buckle down. There's just going to be like a whole set of consequences if I keep doing that, if I do that.
So there's a whole set of things that you know. You kind of keep saying, well, I know this, but, or what if? And so the whole set of what you know isn't necessarily matching up with what you're ready to do.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I mean, yeah, I do have like a set of like realities for myself. But I think the doubt kind of trumps the realities for me. So I just don't know like how to get to a place where the doubt is not so intense for me to I don't know, go through the realities of the situation and succeed at them.
So the fear, when you become really scared of those what ifs and the unknowns, that then it trumps what you know
Yeah,
and
definitely.
what you know you need to do.
Yeah.
You kind of feel paralyzed.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, it's the worst feeling. It's a really weird place to be in. Just because, like, again, I know that I need to do stuff, but the fear of failing is just like you said, paralyzing. And it makes me not want to try. But then by not trying, it's just a vicious cycle.
So that cycle of fear leading to inaction,
Yeah.
which then increases the fear
Yeah.
of failing.
Yeah. I just want to get into a place where I am like highly motivated. And I think that'll just make everything else fall into place, kind of. Because if I get into a routine of coming home from class and doing my homework and really putting on like the hat of like being an adult and taking it seriously and not just like some random college kid who just wants like, you know, to go out with her friends after class and blowing off stuff, I think it'll probably fall in place for me. And that'll build my confidence too. Because right now I'm just not that confident.
So some of the things that you feel like if you were to start trying some of those things, that maybe that could help you increase your confidence, which could maybe start to curb some of the fear and the anxiety.
Yeah.
But for now, it's still that overwhelming feeling and not being quite ready to take that next step
Yeah.
of coming home and setting that routine.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like a really foreign concept to me, and it shouldn't be. I feel like by now, I should know how to get everything done and still be able to balance things. But right now, I'm just choosing something over what I should be doing.
So getting caught up in all the shoulds.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's like the expectation that I have over myself, because that's what I know I need. And that's what I know that like my dad would want.
That's what you saw your sister do. That's what you saw your dad wanting you to do. That's what you're scared of him realizing you're not doing.
Yeah. I just don't know what he would say if he like knew what I've really been doing and how I've like set up my college experience thus far. Cause like, I mean, he doesn't know, like, cause I live like an hour away from home. So it's not like I see him a lot. When he calls me, I tell him like, you know, what I'm up to and like what classes I'm taking and that like, you know, I'm studying, but not necessarily like giving him the full story. And I'm definitely not, like I haven't really told him about like my issue with choosing the major and everything.
You don't want him to know.
No, I don't want him to know that I'm like being complacent. And then I don't necessarily want him to know that I'm even like thinking about declaring my major as political science, because then I think he'll be more adamant about checking in with me, seeing, you know, if I'm doing well in this class, what I got on this test, and that like, and I know that would probably be good for me in a way, but I'm not used to having him so involved
so afraid he would increase pressure if he knew that you were potentially following in his footsteps.
Yeah.
And there's a piece of you that thinks that could be good, I could need that accountability, but I don't know that I want that accountability.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think that his view of me would change. I think that if I told him that I was, thinking about becoming a lawyer and getting into law school, then, like, he would go into, like, not protective dad mode, but like overbearing, like, you need to do this, this, and this because that's what I did.
He would go into action plan mode.
Yeah, definitely. And right now, I mean, since the divorce, he's obviously been like preoccupied with a lot of other things, and I mean, as long as he knows that I'm okay and I'm like, doing, okay and well in school, then that's fine. But I feel like if he knew about my intention of pursuing the law, then he would just totally like kind of reverse his position, like from being like not so involved to like hyper involved.
So y'all's relationship would shift.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I don't know if I really want to commit to that because I'm not used to it. It would put a lot more pressure on me to succeed. And thus far in college I haven't had that, so I've been like very comfortable in doing what I want to do and doing my own thing and getting to class, but not necessarily like doing as much as I can.
Since impressing him has been something that has increased for you and you've wanted that even more since the divorce. Kind of, once again, the fear of having to increase that even more because now he would want some more out of you.
Yeah.
So it would take even more of you to impress him.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Because I know that that's really important to me. Like I want to do well, so he is proud of me. In any type of field, but I feel like if he knew that I was following in his footsteps, he would take it a lot more seriously, and make me realize that this is how you need to be to become where I am or something like that. You know what I mean? So it's, I mean, like I know what I want to do. The inventory test, like it really didn't help me. I think that I've just been undecided on my major just because of the reasons that we talked about. But I think I'm gonna have to work on like all the doubting myself and kind of like putting into action what I need to do to get where I want to be.
Well, we have about 10 minutes left, and so, I mean, that's kind of, it's your 10 minutes, so however you want to spend that, naturally, that's where I want to spend that time. But one of the things to be thinking about in this last 10 minutes is what are some of the ways, what are maybe some small things you can do between now and the next time we meet that can help you at least start to face some of those fears. What does that look like? What are some of the things that you can do to start to do that?
Yeah. Well, since I'm like finishing up my semester, after this semester, I'm pretty much done with my gen eds. But maybe, like especially with finals coming up in about like a month or so, I really want to like finish out the semester pretty strong. So, I mean, I could probably devote some time to studying more. I mean, if I really needed it, I don't know, like in what classes I really need tutoring, but that could always be an option if they still offer that so late in the semester with subjects.
You can check with the Student Success Center
Okay.
to see what kind of tutoring options they offer.
Okay, that would be
One
good.
place.
That would be good. I could probably like look into, like really kind of delve into the exact major that I really kind of want. 'Cause I mean, like everybody says like political science, but I don't know if I would want to do like criminal justice or something along those lines. So I kind of want to do maybe a little bit more research about the majors. Or let's see, what else could I do? Maybe like, oh, well, I could definitely probably like become a little bit more organized. Especially with like ending my classes on a good high note. I'd want to really map out what I need to do in my classes in terms of assignments and when things are due and what pages I need to read and things like that.
Trying to organize more so that you maybe, like the first thing you mentioned is knowing which classes you did kind of need to invest more time in.
Yeah, definitely. Mapping that out, kind of seeing where I need to spend more time, time studying, that would be good.
When you first mentioned it, I heard some hesitancy.
About what?
When you were talking about, you know, I could study more, but I heard the hesitancy still.
Yeah, because I'm still at that point where I'm just like, I'm a little afraid. And I don't know if it's like an issue of like commitment just in choosing a major or if that's kind of like a flaw of mine that I have like an issue with commitment. Because I can't, because like you said, like I was hesitant to even commit to making a plan of how I could succeed just even in this semester. So that's hard.
Starting to think it's not even just a fear of commitment about major. That the fear is kind of bigger than that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess that brings up a good point that I kind of could explore in the future. But I don't know, hopefully I can set like a plan into action for me. And then if I do that this, the rest of this semester, then that could really be like a jumping off point for me to start next year and really focusing on the classes that I'm going to be taking if I declare my major. I know that could probably like set a really good groundwork for me.
So hope that if you can kind of end this semester differently than the way you've started it, that it could set up some promise that you could kind of start those same habits, though, going into potentially classes for a major.
Yeah. I feel like that would really be good for me to start, however little I could start being proactive in getting the grades by the end of the semester, and then by next fall I could really I will know what I need to focus on. I'll know where I need, like what I need to prioritize. If I need to go to the library more.
So even starting to figure out what kind of strategies help you.
Yeah.
Because that's what you said earlier. You said, I don't even know what's getting for me.
Yeah.
So starting to figure out what kind of things help you do better in a class. since at this point you've been kind of just doing what needs to be done to get by,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know what it takes to get to that next level.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've gotten like some A's here and there, but that's just completely by chance. Like that wasn't because I
Shifted something that
No.
you did.
exactly. That was just kind of like a surprise, like, hey, I got an A.
Mhm.
That's awesome. But then I just, I went back to getting, B's just
Mhm.
because. So yeah, I'm hoping to kind of employ some better strategies. I mean, the pressure, we talk a lot about my pressure and how to pressure myself in a healthy way and not get so fearful
Mhm.
because I put so much pressure on myself, just a healthy amount of pressure. I want to get to that point.
So you want some pressure to help you increase motivation,
Yeah.
but not so much that you feel paralyzed
Yes.
by the pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So starting to figure out for you, what does a healthy pressure even look like?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be really helpful. Because up until this point, it was either like thinking of like 100% pressure and just not wanting to deal with it, or just like,
Not
pushing it aside.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Feeling completely relaxed and
Mm-hmm.
complacent, I believe is what you said.
Yeah, I think, yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I just,
So maybe that's where we can kind of work on next week. And so be thinking more about, for you, what does that healthy pressure look like? And we can talk more about kind of through the week, start to kind of notice when you're feeling the high anxiety, the high pressure. And we can talk more about, okay, but what does the healthy pressure look and feel like?
Okay. Yeah, I could definitely take note of that. Maybe I'll write some things down when I feel it and like how I react to it, how I would want to react to it maybe.
Mhm.
Okay, I could do that.